On this episode of our Axis and Allies Global 1940 Second Edition tutorial series, we're going to talk about aircraft carriers. Aircraft carriers and their relationship with planes is one of the most complicated sets of units in the game, hence why this video has taken so much longer to release than the rest of the units. And to be honest, I'm still not entirely certain on how some of the things with the carriers work, so I would love any kind of feedback in the comments about certain things. The rulebook isn't really the clearest on it, or at least not in the back where the unit profile is. The rulebooks for this game aren't the best things in the world, but moving on. Aircraft carriers have a few different special abilities. The first one is their capital ship, meaning they take 2 hits to destroy. They can sustain damage, basically. So, you get in the battle, you take a hit, you can decide to damage your carrier instead of sinking it. When it's in this state, any planes that you have on it cannot take off. They cannot land on it. No other planes can land on it. They cannot attack from it. They cannot defend from it. Your planes are they're effectively cargo. Act like it's how a ground unit would be treated on a transport. If your carrier is then destroyed, your planes can move 1 space to try to find a legal landing spot on another carrier or some kind of land territory. If they can't, they're destroyed. Once you get to a naval base, a friendly naval base, you'll be able to repair your carriers if they're damaged. And then from there, you can take off if you need to. Each carrier can carry up to 2 planes, and those can be any combination of fighters and tactical bombers. So you can have 2 fighters, 2 tactical bombers, or 1 of each, or just 1 of either type. Carriers and fighters, they move independently from each other. So when you get to the combat movement phase, you move your planes, and then later when you get to non-combat, then you can move your carriers. They don't. You can't boost your fighter's movement with your carriers. You can't just move 2 with the carrier and then your fighter gets an extra 4 on top of that. No, that's not a thing. You can have friendly air units land on carriers as long as they're at war with the same powers you are at war with. If you're neutral, you can't land them on anyone's carriers if they're fighting anybody. A few interesting things you can do with carriers is you can land planes on them before a carrier exists. And what I mean is, let's say we're Germany here, and we did some stuff with our fighters and whatnot. And when it comes to the end of the turn, or towards the end, we can move them here. And then when we put down new units, if we built a carrier, we could put it here, and we could land our planes there. That is a legal move. You are allowed to do this. Yeah, I believe that's the majority of the stuff with the carriers. There might be a few other nuances. Again, if I missed anything, please correct it. But moving on, the powers that really like carriers. These are going to be very similar to all the other naval unit videos I've done. The United States loves carriers. They're going to need a lot. Japan really likes carriers because of how many planes that they have and all the open space in the Pacific. They're the top powers that like carriers. Next, we have the UK. The UK likes carriers, although I don't think they should be building as many as those prior powers. And then you have pretty much the other powers that can't afford to build naval units. So you have Germany and Anzac down there, and Italy to an extent. With those 3, I don't think you need carriers as much for various reasons, like Germany. I just don't think you should be building a lot of ships. Italy, there's so much land around the Mediterranean that carriers aren't super necessary. Anzac, I much prefer building ground units or fighters with them than carriers. France is irrelevant. They'll never get the chance. And if you're building ships as the Soviet Union, you're doing something wrong. Don't ever build ships with the Soviet Union. I think I've made this quite clear. Overall, aircraft carriers are quite useful to add some extra defense to your fleet. Air units are very useful. That's why they're so expensive, because they're some of the best units in the game. But I think the only thing that really makes a carrier good is its planes. The ship itself is just kind of whatever. All it is just a landing strip, effectively. Carriers cannot attack. They have no attack value. They defend at a 2. They move 2. And they cost 16 in this game. Other versions, they cost less. So yeah, that's the aircraft carrier.